Mastering good clinical practices. Trial subjects are left in the dark about accessing experimental treatments after the study ends. Where are the requirements for post-trial access to investigational products, which are typically outlined in the protocol, defined in terms of their scope, duration, and conditions, and which ultimately depend on applicable laws and regulations, as well as the sponsor's policy, and which should be discussed and agreed upon with the relevant stakeholders, including the investigators, ethics committees, and regulatory authorities, in order to ensure that the rights, safety, and well-being of trial subjects are protected. The requirements for post-trial access to investigational products are typically outlined in the protocol and are defined in terms of their scope, duration, and conditions. These requirements depend on applicable laws and regulations, as well as the sponsor's policy. To ensure that the rights, safety, and well-being of trial subjects are protected, it is essential to discuss and agree upon these requirements with the relevant stakeholders, including the investigators, ethics committees, and regulatory authorities. The scope of post-trial access to investigational products refers to the specific circumstances under which access will be provided. This may include, for example, providing the investigational product to subjects who have experienced a significant benefit from its use during the trial, or to subjects who are at risk of harm if the investigational product is withdrawn. The duration of post-trial access to investigational products refers to the length of time that the investigational product will be provided to subjects after the trial has been completed. This may vary depending on the specific circumstances of the trial and the needs of the subjects. The conditions for post-trial access to investigational products refer to the specific criteria that must be met in order for subjects to be eligible to receive the investigational product after the trial has been completed. This may include, for example, the subject's continued participation in follow-up visits or monitoring, or the subject's agreement to provide additional safety data. The applicable laws and regulations that govern post-trial access to investigational products vary by country and region. For example, the World Health Organization (WHO) and the International Conference on Harmonization of Technical Requirements for Registration of Pharmaceuticals for Human Use (ICH) provide guidelines on post-trial access to investigational products. Additionally, individual countries and regions, such as the European Union and the United States, have their own laws and regulations governing post-trial access to investigational products. The sponsor's policy on post-trial access to investigational products should be outlined in the protocol and should take into account the applicable laws and regulations, as well as the needs and expectations of the trial subjects. The sponsor's policy should also be communicated to the relevant stakeholders, including the investigators, ethics committees, and regulatory authorities, in order to ensure that everyone involved in the trial is aware of the requirements for post-trial access to investigational products. In order to ensure that the rights, safety, and well-being of trial subjects are protected, it is essential to discuss and agree upon the requirements for post-trial access to investigational products with the relevant stakeholders. This includes the investigators, who are responsible for conducting the trial and providing care to the subjects, the ethics committees, who are responsible for reviewing and approving the trial protocol and ensuring that the trial is conducted in accordance with ethical principles, and the regulatory authorities, who are responsible for enforcing the laws and regulations governing clinical trials. By discussing and agreeing upon the requirements for post-trial access to investigational products with these stakeholders, the sponsor can ensure that the needs and expectations of all parties involved are taken into account, and that the rights, safety, and well-being of trial subjects are protected. This includes ensuring that subjects have access to the investigational product for as long as necessary, while also ensuring that the sponsor is in compliance with applicable laws and regulations.